Hello and welcome to the Wargamer and another unboxing video. This time we're following on from our look at the Konflikt 47 rulebook by looking at some of the new miniatures for this game. Now first of all, we're going to be looking at this M8 Grizzly Medium Assault Walker, and this is a perfect example of some of the advanced rift technology that is employed by all the nations in Konflikt 47. This is of course the allied M8 Grizzly Medium Assault Walker, and on the front there we can see an example of the walker in action with some accompanying infantry as well. Now flipping the box over, we can see some more shots. We've got a couple of close-ups and also another painted example, and also a brief assembly guide as well. And this little bit of blurb here just describes the history and development of the M8. So let's open this box up and take a look at the contents inside. And here we have the components that go into making the M8 Grizzly. As you can see, mostly resin components. The main legs, waist, arms, torso, and also this top section here are all made out of resin. We've also got a few metal components as well, notably this back armor plate, this 50 cal there. We've also got some wiring, the main parts that go into making the front cannon, and also some of the top hatches as well. Everything's really nicely detailed, as you can see here. The fists are quite large, very chunky, very utilitarian in their design, very nice indeed. And now one of the things I actually quite like about this miniature, looking at it straight away, is the fact that these two components are separate, which means you actually get a small amount of movement when you actually attach them in there. You can rotate it slightly. It gives you some real freedom of modelling, especially if you wanted to kit out a few of these in your force. They wouldn't all be limited to having the same poses. Now in terms of casting quality, everything looks quite nice. All the pieces are very nice and stark in their casting. You can see very strong edges. There are a few areas of additional sprue that you need to clip off, and also some mould lines that you'll need to sand down, but nothing too bad. And the same goes for the metal areas. Of course, we've got the small sprue here, but the actual panels themselves look fairly well cast. Not really much in the way of mould lines there either. So let's get this Grizzly assembled and take a look at the finished miniature. Here we have the assembled M8 Grizzly with a US infantryman for scale. The kit itself was pretty straightforward to assemble, even with the limited instructions on the back of the box. All the pieces fitted together quite nicely, although the only area where I actually struggled on was the legs themselves. The ball and socket joints didn't quite fit flush against each other, so I had to make sure that I used plenty of glue in order to make sure they stayed fixed together. However, apart from that one area, everything else fitted together nicely. Another great thing about this kit is essentially the aesthetics. Although it's technically a futuristic vehicle and it being a walker, it looks like it's quite low-tech. Everything looks functional. It looks like it was built around about the time of the late 1940s. Especially with the chunky riveted armor plates, reminding me of the vehicles such as the M10 tank destroyer. So now that we've looked at the miniature, let's get an overall summary for the M8 Grizzly. So that concludes my review of the M8 Medium Assault Walker. Now this vehicle would make an excellent addition to any Konflikt 47 US force, as it really is an all-rounder vehicle. Not only do you have your hull-mounted anti-tank gun, you've also got your heavy machine gun on the top, and not to mention the two fists at the sides, which make it perfect for taking on both the larger infantry that we see in Konflikt 47, but also other vehicles and walkers. As I've already mentioned, the aesthetics of the miniature really are perfect. It fits in the time frame, even though it is higher technology than what we expected historically. Now the M8 Grizzly is priced at £28 on the Warlord Games webstore, which there'll be a link to in the description below, which does make it slightly more pricey than an equivalent resin and metal Sherman, for example, but it is slightly larger, it's a little bit more chunky, so that does kind of make up for the difference in the price. Now if you enjoyed this video, please do let me know in the comments below, and also subscribe to be kept up to date with all of my future Konflikt 47 content that I have planned. And until next time, thanks for watching, and goodbye.